All right, Tabitha.
Yes.
Tabitha, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I was born in Huntsville, Texas. I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and spent that time there until I was about 18. Then moved to Colorado. Spent about 12 years there. Then I came out here about 3 years ago.
And tell me about how you grew up. You had both your mom and dad?
Actually, up until I was about 5 years old, I kind of grew up with both parents, more spending most of the time with my paternal grandparents, my dad's parents. Not such a great thing. After that, about 6 years old, I actually started being put in treatment centers. So I more grew up in the system than I did with my parents.
What was going on at home?
I guess according to what everybody said, I had a lot of anger problems, just behavioral problems, just acting out, being violent.
Was there abuse going on?
From the age, well, I guess from my understanding, like from the time I was like about in diapers until I was about 5 years old, I was like molested by my grandfather. So I guess that's where a lot of the anger stemmed from.
Sure.
Being violent, stuff like that.
That makes sense.
After that, my mom just had a lot of boyfriends in and out. Boyfriends that were abusive, physically, a lot more molestation going on, stuff like that.
Wow. And you went on your own at what age?
I actually got emancipated 3 months before I turned 15. I got pregnant at 13 though.
From who?
I have a boyfriend that I had. It was just a boyfriend that I had been dating. Of course, I lied about my age. I looked older than what I was. He was 17, I was 13. Got pregnant at 13. I had my son at 14. I had my son January 21st of, 2002?
And you started with drugs at what?
I started using drugs when I was 11 years old. I started drinking and smoking weed. I didn't really get into any hardcore drugs until I was about 15, 16 years old. Drinking, though, became one of my worst problems. I was able to drink like a gallon of like Everclear in a 24-hour period by myself.
Wow.
I wound up with 4 bleeding ulcers. I found out a month after my 16th birthday. So.
Is alcohol still your
Actually, I made sure to stop drinking. The more kids I kept having, it was a little bit harder to always drink like that and then continue to go through the detox and everything. So I just kind of quit drinking for a while. And I drink once in a while now, but smoking weed was always still my thing. I got into smoking rock for a while. I stopped doing that. I mean, anything I did on my own. I've been to a few rehabs, but rehabs really aren't my thing. If I wanted to quit, I was going to quit. If I didn't, I didn't. I guess my biggest thing is just my behavioral stuff. I get very violent. I have a very short temper. I became a very big introvert, but out through my course of life, I've also learned to, if I want to know something, I've learned it. I don't leave it upon other people to teach me it. I'll pick up a book, I'll go online, and I'll learn it.
It's easy to learn nowadays.
It is, kind of. Back then, it was easy to learn as well. It's just a matter if you want to.
What is your drug today?
I do crystal meth sometimes still.
Mm-hmm.
I still smoke weed like crazy, so.
Yep. And how many kids do you have?
I have 6.
6 kids.
I have 6 kids and 1 grandbaby.
Are you raising any of your kids?
I was. I came out here to California 3 years ago. And the reason I came out here was because my youngest daughter's dad had tried raping me while he was like extremely intoxicated. When I got to the hospital, they wanted me to leave the state just to get away from him until the court stuff got going. So I did. My mom had lived out here for a while, and she had owned her own business, so I came out here. But bringing 5 kids out here was not really, it's not very feasible, or price-wise, it's not good either.
Sure, it's expensive.
So my kids are all at that age to where they made the decision they want to stay with grandparents, stay in the town that they've been in since they were born. So I told them they can make that decision, and I told them, well, Mom's here no matter what. So if you guys want to come out here, you know, you can. If you just want to come visit, that's fine too. I'd rather you guys be happy and okay with what you're doing. I was in and out of prison since right before I turned 21. I was in and out.
How old are you now?
I'll be 33 in October.
And you're living on the street now?
Living on the street?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been living on the street for almost 3 years now.
How do you support yourself now?
I support myself in various ways by I've sold drugs to...
Just hustling whatever you can?
Yeah, pretty much. The only thing I haven't gotten myself into is prostitution. I just don't... That's just one thing I don't think I could ever cross the line with in per se, just because it's just too much of a closeness to me, and due to being molested when I was younger, I kind of like to keep that as more of my personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to just share it with someone and get paid for it. I just don't. If I want to do it, I want to do it. If I don't, I don't. I don't feel like being paid for something like that is just my thing to do. I have done an escort thing, but it's more not along the lines of any sexual stuff. It's just they need someone to go with them for dinner, for a business thing. They just want company. They just want someone to talk to, companionship more than anything. So that I can handle.
Yeah. And do you still have contact with your kids?
I do.
You do?
My kids, yeah, they hit me up on Messenger, call me when they want to, stuff like that. Sometimes when I try to call them, instead of letting them call me, it's more, Mom, I'm with my friends right now, gotta go. I'm like, oh, okay, well, screw Mom. Yeah, I don't see you that often, but okay, go have fun, My son is 19, so he lives in New Mexico, and he has the grandbaby. So he made me a grandma. And she's like 15 months old now, so.
And looking back at your life, I mean, what regrets do you have?
Regrets I have in life are
the parents you chose.
The path I chose, just trying to always think I could do everything on my own, thinking that I don't need the help when I should have just taken the help and stopped being so stubborn. Even though I know how to learn on my own, sometimes learning from other people, I've learned out through my life, goes a little bit further than just learning on your own. Helps maybe to not take such a long path. I could have taken a shorter path and not gone such a hard road.
Yeah. And the sexual abuse that you went through with your mom's boyfriends and is it your grandfather?
Yeah.
That must have affected your adult life now, right?
It does a lot in a lot of ways. Especially with my kids, I'm very cautious about where they went to, who they went to. Even with family, any signs of anything, I was quick to jump on it, to say something, to be like, hey, you know what, I don't find that appropriate. You need to stop. It's not okay. My girls, I don't allow them to wear anything short, anything see-through. They're not even allowed to wear makeup, and they're already 14, 13, and 12 are the older ones. So I tell them, chapstick, that's it. Don't you put anything else on your lips. You're not allowed to wear nothing else. Stuff like that. My 12-year-old, she kind of doesn't listen, so she's kind of trying to be on Facebook and with makeup and doing, I consider it inappropriate poses and stuff like that, and I try talking to her, but she doesn't really want to listen. She's one of my, as I say, my chunkier kids, and I guess she's having some problems in school with a lot of the kids and stuff like that, so she's kind of battling being accepted and kids making fun of her and stuff like that and everything. So it's kind of a different path for me because I've never had that problem in school, and neither has any of my other kids. So, she puts things on Facebook like, if I died today, where would you be there? What would this, with that? I'm like, baby, what is going on with you? It takes a big toll on a parent to go through some stuff like that with your child.
Absolutely.
Especially when you haven't been through it and stuff,
Yeah. What emotions do you fight with?
I fight a lot with my anger emotions. I fight a lot with my own pride. A lot of hurt. A lot of guilt. I know if I would have made a few more better choices in life, I don't think that I would be quite where I'm at today, but I know through where I'm at today and the things that I've been through, I've grown a lot, I've learned a lot. People come up to me and talk to me and tell me about their life a lot. I could just say hi to someone and next thing I know, I'm knowing something about someone's whole life story, and I'm just like, okay, I guess you could say I feel like Dr. Phil sometimes. I just don't get paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And do you get depressed sometimes?
Depression, I don't think is really an emotion that I have. I've been diagnosed as a sociopath and bipolar, but with violent tendencies. So I go from being okay to just being angry and being violent.
How far has your violence gone?
I've done a lot of things that I regret. Out of obligation, I've put a lot of people to the grave, I guess you could say. I've done a lot of things, I guess, I still look over my shoulder with. I wouldn't say like I'm religious. I do believe in God, and no matter how much I guess I can say I've asked for forgiveness, I still look over my shoulder because I know even though things have been out of obligation, I still did wrong. And I still did stuff that I shouldn't have done, and I just wish I could have done things a little bit better, just not been in situations to where I would have even had to been obligated to do such a thing. But I guess, life takes its turns, and sometimes you just got to take that turn, and sometimes it's going to be rough, and sometimes it's not.
And do you have friends now?
Do I have friends?
I know you have street acquaintances, but
I have acquaintances.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say that I have friends. I have a few people that I consider my best friend. It's really hard for me to get a person to call a person that. Most of my friends, yes, are guys, but due to mine and my mother's relationship, females and me just don't usually click very well.
Mm-hmm. And your mom is raising your kids?
No. My mom actually moved from here to Texas about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And she moved back to Alvin, Texas, where she's from. She is more closer to my siblings' kids than anything. My kids are with their dad's parents. So.
Oh, I see. Okay. And your relationship with your mom is?
It's all right as long as we don't live under the same roof as each other. We could live under the same roof for maybe about 3 days. And then after that, my mom's narcissistic. So it's very hard to be under the roof of someone that's a narcissist. But I love my mom dearly. She's had, just like me, had to make choices in her life and stuff, and it's caused a lot of us, mine and my brothers, to go through things when we were younger and stuff like that. But for the most part, like, we talk and stuff like that. Now, as far as my dad, last thing me and my father ever said to each other was, "I hate you, and the day you die would be the best day of my life."
So not the best relationship.
No. No, that it's not. I have been through college and stuff like that. Like, I'm actually kind of waiting for me to get my act a little bit more together, and I'm going to go back but I'm going to do college back online and do my majors, because I've already done my general studies, so I'll be doing my majors, which is interior design, decorating, and to become a psychologist major.
That would be great.
Yeah. I feel that there's a lot of things I can help people out with, and I've done a lot of help out here in this world, but I want to actually do it and do it professionally and stuff like that.
Good for you. That's great. What would you say is the most important thing you've learned in your life?
Patience and love. I say patience because it takes a lot to deal with this world nowadays. This world has became crap in my point of view. And in order to just deal with people in general and deal with how they are, you have to have patience. You have to learn to just sit back and just breathe for a minute and just say, okay, that's their behavior, not mine. I'm going to let this ride. Love, because without love, I don't think any of us would be here today.
Nope.
So.
All right. Well, Tabitha, thank you so much for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
And I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.